Thank you. We're going to go ahead and call to order the City Council meeting for Monday, August 2nd, 2021. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Jamie, roll call, please. Here.
Mark Bittner.
Here.
Jeff Dahlke.
Here.
Tracy Coach.
Here.
Bill LeClaire.
Here.
Darla LeClaire. Here. Jay Remiker.
Here.
Bonnie Shimulinis. Adam Husky.
Here. Thank you. Number 4 is consideration of any council member. We're all here, so the only one that's not right now is our city manager. And we did talk to him. There's some personal things going on there, so he will not be joining us tonight. But we do have the meeting covered with his staff and with council being brought up to speed on some things we need to address. So we'll move on to number 5. The first thing is a public hearing. It's a public hearing for conditional use permit to operate a commercial kennel in the B2 Business District at 3310 45th Street, submitted by Stephanie Muller, DBA Lucky Paws Pet Boutique. That's the owner. The recommended action is a motion to waive the reading and approve the conditional use permit. But because it's a public hearing, we're going to go to the folks in the audience first. We'll do 3 calls. If you can come up to the podium, state your name and address, and address the issue at hand. And after each call, we'll repeat that 3 times. And then we'll also tonight go to the phones, because we do have listed on our agenda that there's a phone number to call in. So we're going to use that phone number tonight. In the future, we're going to make sure we get people hopefully here for public hearings. It just have to be printed that there's a phone number on the agenda, so we're going to follow that based on what's on the agenda. So first call for the public hearing on the conditional use permit to operate the commercial kennel. First call. Second call. And third call. Okay, Jamie, if you're ready, we're going to move to the phones. We'll do the same thing. First call, please give your name and address and address the issue at hand. The phone number to call in is 920-793-5538. We'll give a little bit more space between the calls in case they're dialing in. It's 920-793-5538. First call. And second call. And last but not least, third call. Okay, not hearing from anybody. I'm looking for a motion to waive the reading and approve the conditional use permit. We have that as on page 5 in your package tonight. Do I have a motion?
Mr. President, I'll make a motion to waive the reading and approve the conditional use permit for Lucky Paws.
Thank you, Mark. Do I have a
I'll
second?
second.
Thank you, Jay. Any discussion on this? Okay, seeing none, it is a conditional use permit. I'm going to go ahead and do a roll call, Jamie, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Mark Bittner.
Aye.
Jeff Dahlke.
Aye.
Tracy Coach.
Aye.
Darla LeClaire. Aye. Bill LeClaire. Aye. Jay Remiker.
Aye.
Bonnie Shimulinis. Adam Husky.
Aye.
Kurt Andrews.
Aye. Thank you, guys, and thank you for allowing us to have a public hearing on this. We'll move to number 6. That's input from the public. And again, because the number is posted, it basically states when the council president requests public input, you can use this number to call in. We're going to start with the folks in the audience first, and then we'll go ahead and do the call-in numbers, the call-in number for any public input. Please, if you got any questions on what's on tonight's agenda or there's things you'd like to put on a future agenda, we'd like you to come up to the podium, state your name and address, and address council. We'll open it up for the folks in the room first. Okay, we'll go to the phones, 920-793-5538. Input from the public, please state your name and address and address any issues on the agenda or any future issues you'd like us to consider. Okay, we'll move on. If someone dials in a few minutes, we'll go ahead and stop and go back, but we're going to move on right now. Number 7, council communications, letters and other communication from citizens. Anybody want to report on anything they've heard or have been reached out to? Yes, Mark.
Mr. President, I'd like to remind City Council, I know Greg's aware of it, but Stephanie is celebrating a grand opening for Lucky Paws on Sunday at 10 o'clock, and everyone's invited, so new business, and thank you for your commitment. And there's a grand opening celebration, 10 o'clock on Sunday.
Awesome. Thank you for telling us that. Any other communications from citizens? Jeff?
I had a call from somebody and they were asking, well, actually they were stating that Brown County, the reformatory is in bad shape and they're looking to rebuild somewhere. And they were wondering if it wouldn't be a bad idea to put it like out in the industrial park into rivers that'll bring jobs, utilize some of that land. It's far enough in the country that it's really not going to affect the city much. It's an option that we could always look at too, because I know that they were checking in Kewanee, other places in Brown County, and so far nobody has bid yet, so might be something we might want to look into.
Can you pass that information to Elizabeth, if you don't mind? Okay, that'd be great.
Good idea.
Do you mind if that has come up before they had, I mean, I don't remember exactly what happened, but just so they know it, it's something that had been, that we had thought about before.
I think it came up to BIDC and CDA as well. They looked at some land, Bonnie, close to the freeway system as well as industrial park, because I know they've got to move, so. Okay, but thank you for that update. Any other updates from any folks? Bill?
I had a person ask me about down by Berserkers, there's some apartments, large apartment buildings, and on 19th Street, he was saying that there were a lot of children playing around. If there was anything that we could do to keep motorists, a lot of cars going kind of fast there, to maybe put a sign up, children at play or something, but he was concerned about, he lived there for a long time, and he said there's just so many more kids playing there now than there used to be.
We do have our deputy chief here. Ben, did you hear that? Okay. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Bill. Again, anytime anything like that comes up, you see like where you think parking's an issue or speeding's an issue or children at play is an issue, please make sure you communicate that to us. We're trying to keep a very safe community here. Any other feedback from citizens? Okay. Let's move on to, well, we got the city manager's report. I'll start off by inviting our guests, and then Jamie's going to take the lead on delivering Greg's report for us tonight. But we have 2 invited guests. Did I miss something? 8. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed 8. Thank you very much. That's why we have a good vice president. I caught me. Thank you. Council reports from boards, commissions, and committees. If I kept my glasses on, I'd be better off. Any updates anybody wants to share? Mark.
I just remind the council and the city at large, Wednesday, August 12th at 6 o'clock, the Personnel and Finance meeting. We'll have a meeting and everyone's invited.
I think it's Thursday.
Thursday, excuse me.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? I can tell you there's a Celebrate Two Rivers meeting tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, or 5 o'clock, actually, if anybody wants to join. It's here. It's putting the final touches on the event coming up on August 28th. And then there's a branding marketing meeting coming up on August 19th that is moving some things along that we're doing with branding and marketing. So you're more than welcome to join us for that as well. Any other reports? I know there's one that's on the agenda that's further down, but I'll go ahead and give an update. We are still meeting with the Manitowoc Room and Tax Group and trying to figure out the MAVCB contract that we're trying to put into draft stage. We have to have that done by September 1st. So hopefully we'll have that in front of council to look at after the Room and Tax Committee looks at it. But we did have to cancel today's meeting with Manitowoc. So we're rescheduling that. And stay tuned for more information on that. That's the last of the committee reports that I have. Okay, thank you. Did I get it all covered, Adam? Okay, we can move on to number 9. City manager reports. I'll go ahead and invite the two gentlemen who are going to give our invited guests, Jeff and Tony Sashi, who did a fantastic job on Snowfest. They're going to give us a little bit of an update on how it worked out, and maybe some exciting news about maybe future Snowfests. And then we'll go into the city manager report, and Jamie will be doing that. So guys, the microphone is there. It should be on. Rick, it is on, right? Yes, it should be. Okay, and we introduce yourselves, and thank you guys for all the hard work you did as well.
Thank you, Kurt. As you mentioned, my name's Tony Saxey. This is my brother Jeff. We are the co-chairs of the Friends of Two Rivers Snowfest, and our group just came off of a week of kind of wrapping things up for the return of Snowfest, which was the first time we brought this event back after a 23-year absence. I got to say, it was just great to have a buzz going on the east side of Two Rivers again. Had a lot of people make positive comments to that. We were excited to welcome 16 bands into Two Rivers, a lot of them first time coming, and a lot of them really do want to come back. We've worked with Parks and Rec. Some of them are coming back, through Bands on the Beach, but also we're going to be bringing a bunch of them back. It was really kind of cool to bring 2 bands back, specifically Liquid Crush. That's the Stengel family from long history in town here. Also brought one of the Schrader boys back, Dan, who had actually played with John as he most recently put out there about 11,000 days ago, back in 1989, and was really just geeked to get back up on stage with him. And then we were really excited to bring Matt Schrader back, who Matt's played in town before as a solo artist. He's recently played up at Cold Country as well. He's an extremely talented guitarist, but he threw on his spandex and face paint for us, which we felt kind of pretty impressed about. And he brought his band back for the first time ever to Two Rivers, which was really kind of cool. But yeah, we were overjoyed to have the crowds that we had, the sponsor support, the support of all of the city departments that we interact with, Parks and Rec, Fire, Police, Public Works. I mean, I got to say it was a joy to be riding in a dump truck for the first time ever in my life, and obviously going to be repeating that again next year. But as Kurt said, we're really happy that it turned out the way that it did. We're excited to say that it's going to be coming back again. July 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of 2022. So you're not going to have to wait 23 years to have the next one happen. And our goal is to keep this going for as long as we're physically capable of wanting to keep it going. It's got an incredibly long history. We just want to keep adding to it.
Thank you. Jeff has nothing to say?
Well, I mean, there's always something to say.
Yes.
Well, in terms of lessons learned from this year, I think, a few of the things that we're going to do next year, one, there will be more snow than we had this year. We have had some contacts with a few visual effects companies that might help us out in that regard. We're also going to be looking next year to condense the footprint of the event to better utilize Nashota Park in full. We, obviously put a stage out in Walsh Field as well as the many food trucks we were able to bring in. But just found, again, from feedback from people that it may have been too far of a walk. And again, we did that, in at least initially in the interest of social distancing in light of the pandemic, But what we found over the weekend is people valued shade over distance. And as anyone knows, in the summer in Walsh Field, there's one corner of the bleachers where you can actually find shade. So we're going to, again, bring the event back to where everyone remembers it, and, do so in a way where, the hope is, based on what we're thinking and scheduling, that the music will never stop, and that, everyone will just be able to enjoy a much more relaxed experience.
Great. Well, again, on behalf of the City of Two Rivers, City Council, I'd love to give these guys a hand for everything they've done.
No, and I just have to say, we kind of are the public faces of this. We're the ones that get trotted out to all the news media, but there is a crew that is really working hard to make this happen. This doesn't happen with the two of us. There's a group of 10 to 12 of us that are really diligent in putting this on, and if it wasn't for the support of the Optimists, the KCs, the Lions, even some high school groups to help us make this happen, this cast of hundreds that really made it happen, it wouldn't have turned out the way that it did. So thank you to all of them as well.
We appreciate it. Thank you for everybody who helped out. Let's move on to Jamie. You've got the microphone and you've got the city manager report. And we know this one's going to be fantastic today.
All right, I'll try and make it short. Okay. Ready. Okay, so for street and utility construction updates on 24th Street, from Forest Avenue to Jefferson Street, the curb and gutter and travel lanes are all paved. Driveway aprons and sidewalks are under construction this week, and landscaping will be what is restored after that's complete. On 25th Street from West River Street to Forest Avenue, the utilities are in and the street is graded and gravelled. Concrete should go down by the end of the week with gutters and cleanup to follow after that. Madison Street from 19th to 22nd Street. The crews are working on water main installation north of 20th, where the pavement has been removed. The other utilities will be installed next. The next block will start when the water main is tested and the temporary water service is relocated. At the the August 16th council meeting, we will have discussion and look at a new sex offender residency ordinance and a new ordinance revision on nuisance properties. So more information to come on those. Finance director is going to give us a little update on the annual report on equalized values.
You did pass out this sheet to all of us?
Yes, everybody should have that sheet. Usually Greg talks longer, that's why it took me this long to get to. I did hand out this sheet of paper to you, which is in conjunction with Mr. Buckley's email that he sent to you earlier today, or was that over the weekend sometime? Basically, summarizing his comments in there, the equalized value for the city went up 8%, which is a terrific number for us. That's on the heels of 4% last year and 6% the year before. Somebody asked me earlier tonight already if this has an effect on property taxes, and the answer is no. This does not have a direct effect on anybody's taxes. This is basically the state telling us what the equalized value, or equate that to fair market value of the real estate in City of Two Rivers is. We assess tax, we charge taxes based upon the assessed value of your property, not the equalized value. So there's no direct correlation between the two. The city goal for the equalized value is 3%, so we have definitely met that over the last year, and as well as the previous 2 years, so we're on the right track. In fact, one of the things that I noticed as I put this chart together is that we have finally gotten back to an equalized value just slightly higher than what it was back in 2009, when it was 584 million. Now it's 588. So we've actually just taken that long to get back to where we were back in 2009. This is also a positive factor when it comes to the legal debt limit calculation that we have to do. We can only borrow a certain amount of our equalized value. And this, by raising that number, raises what we can borrow. It doesn't necessarily mean we're going to borrow that, but it just means that we have that capacity. If we have a project or something that needs to be done, that we have that capacity to actually go out and borrow the money, or a major catastrophe that we need to recover from and we need to borrow some money. Comparisons to Manitowoc County and the city of Manitowoc and the city of Kiel, all the other cities in the county, they were all at 6%, we were at 8%, so we're actually gained a little ground on those areas, which we've quite honestly lagged behind in recent years. The numbers are really created, or they're not created by the city, they're created by the state of Wisconsin based upon market conditions and sales conditions, and then adding in a factor for new construction that are happening in the city. And for us, it's very heavily impacted by the residential real estate market, sales, and that sort of thing. So it's good to see that, as Greg said in his email, it's good to see the TR is ahead of the county average for this year, and that we have lagged behind in recent years. You can, if you look at that chart, and if you're into looking at numbers, you can look at 2009 through 2015, and you see a lot of negative percentages for our lack of growth during those years. And so it's good to see some positive numbers for 3 years in a row now.
Thank you very much for the update, and nice job, everyone. Having property values go up and approving some things where we get some new construction being done. So we'll keep up the good work. Thanks.
All right, moving on. We are still talking about the zip line at Nashota Park. Hopefully it will be installed by the end of this week. Installation was delayed due to heavy rain and weather conditions. They are thinking they can have it completed by the end of the week.
The one thing would be nice to do, once it gets up, if we could tell Terry to do like a little bit of a post and maybe a Facebook Live or something where they can show it being actually utilized. But I think right now people are forgetting the fact that it's even there. But it'd be nice to have a little bit more of a, it's here, come enjoy it, right? And really dial that up. So it'd be great. Thank you.
The new addition at Woodland Dunes Nature Center was dedicated on July 30th.
Oh, they were on Channel 11 this morning. So Woodland Dunes was featured. Two Rivers was featured again, but they were live shooting from Woodland Dunes, which is great. So we're getting a lot of good publicity of amenities and assets in our city.
Mr. President, if I could add, it was a big visible event with a lot of attendance from representatives from national level, government leaders, other businesses in the community. And it really, truly is a gift that we need to continue to recognize and celebrate.
It's great.
Right, there is a new bicycle repair station on the Two Rivers end of the Mariners Trail, thanks to Nathan and Teresa Cronforst of Whitecap Insurance in Two Rivers. So be sure to check that out. Downtown on the corner of Washington and 16th Streets, there's a facade renovation taking place in the building that houses Edward Jones and the Quilt Shop of Two Rivers. The renovation is being assisted by the City of Two Rivers and the Two Rivers Main Street Facade Grant Program. So we'll keep updating on that, and there's a picture here. The former Paragon property is back on the market. City staff is working with parties who might be interested in redevelopment of the site, so we'll keep posted on that. At the July 28th work session meeting, the council reviewed concept plans for the Central Park West 365 project, which should include a splash pad, ice rink, new band shell, and restroom facilities. A proposal for design services is on the agenda for action later in tonight's agenda. And upcoming events, there are a whole slew of events coming up in Two Rivers. National Night Out will be tomorrow from 6 to 8 at Walsh Field. The American Legion flag ceremony will take place on Wednesday, starting at 6 o'clock at Nashota Park. Flags to be recycled can be brought to the cemetery or placed in collection containers at City Hall, Pick and Save, or the Two Rivers Fire Department. Parks and Recreation's Chalk It Up event has been rescheduled and will take place on Wednesday from 6 to 8 at Koenig School. The Main Street's Maxwell Street Days will take place at businesses downtown on Friday, August 6th, with a ping pong ball drop in West Central Park at 11:30 and 1:30.
My understanding is they're dropping that from a drone. So there's
Correct.
hundreds of ping pong balls that will be dropped. So come on out and catch a ping pong ball and save money or win a prize or whatever's going to be on the ping pong ball.
Main Street's Two Rivers Brew Dash will begin Saturday, August 7th, starting and ending in Central Park. The Catamaran Racing Association of Wisconsin's Two Rivers Regatta will be Saturday, August 7th, with boats launching right from the beach. Also this weekend is War on the Shore. Rogers Street Days will be August 13th and 14th. It's going to include food, refreshments, games, bucket raffles, a smelt fry, and free live music. And the 31st Annual Lakeshore Nights Car Show is also that weekend on August 14th with free admission. Parks and Rec's movie on the beach on Friday, August 20th will be E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Food and beverages will be available for purchase. Also, Parks and Rec's End of Summer Bash and Hot Dog Eating Contest is on Saturday, August 21st. It's the first annual event with concessions, family fun, and a teen night. And always, for the most up-to-date and complete information about events and activities in the city of Two Rivers, go to exploretworivers.com. And last but not least, the Celebrate Two Rivers will be held on Saturday, August 28th from 3 to 10 p.m. at Walsh Field. Again, there will be food, fun, fireworks, and more live music. And lastly, there are still a full month of music with bands on the beach and downtown concerts throughout the month of August. The Two Rivers Community Band will be in the park on Thursday, August 5th this week. Everything.
Nicely done. By the way, is there enough stuff going on in Two Rivers or what? So if you haven't experienced it, all you citizens of Two Rivers, please do so. If you have friends who want to come and visit and enjoy the beach, enjoy some good music, enjoy some good food, watch some great baseball, listen to some great bands, come on out. So again, exploretworivers.com for all your needs, for everything that's going on. Mark, you have a question?
Mr. Good job. Thank you for the update. I'd like to circle back to the beginning of the Cool City Crime Prevention Night. It's tomorrow evening. Maybe, Ben, can you give us a snapshot of what's happening at that Walsh Field so the community can bring the kids and people can attend that event?
Hello? Sure, so there's quite a few things. All the agencies in the area will have some sort of representation there. The Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department, for instance, will have their big Bearcat there that all the kids can get in and play around with. They'll have their canine there, which we hope to have one in the future as well, but they'll have theirs doing a demonstration. Really, all the vehicles they'll be able to get in and touch and feel. Usually, I think we have the Coast Guard there, probably somebody from the National Guard. Like I said, pretty much everybody representing.
SWAT unit too, I think.
Yep. That's what the Bearcat is part of that SWAT unit for the Manitowoc County.
Yes, I've attended, and that dog show is really interesting to see that dog.
Yeah, and we'll have a canine there again, so hopefully that gets a little bit more excitement with our program coming up. And we'll have somebody there with the T-shirts for sale, so we'll have somebody there representing our upcoming program.
Great, thank you.
If you wouldn't mind, I'd also like to add, as far as with the following day, in conjunction with the Chalk It Up night with Parks and Rec, the police department will also have cops and cones there as well. So it's an opportunity for all the kids in the area, in the community, to share an ice cream with a cop, and we usually play a lot of games, and it's a great deal of fun, so.
Great. Thank you for that update. And
for
again,
what you
thank you
do.
for updating the community too with all the wonderful services we have. Moving on to C, it's legislative intergovernmental update. I already mentioned the tourism service agreement with the city of Manitowoc we're working through, so stay tuned. Again, we're targeting September 1st to have that draft done and presented and looked at, but stay tuned on that. Is there anything else on governmental updates that anybody knows about in staff? Jack, do you have any updates? Okay, thank you. Let's move on to the consent agenda. Number 10, presentation of minutes. We've got two of them, a motion to waive the reading and adopt those minutes, application and petitions. We have applications for temporary Class B license. We've got two of those. And again, we're looking for a motion to approve those, along with applications for Class A beer license, an application for cigarette license for the One Stop Beach Shop on 22nd Street, also an application for a taxi license, and an application for the operator's license. By the way, that was recommended for denial from the city clerk to notify applicant. And we will make a motion to approve the applications and the steps and authorize the issuance of the license as approved. We'll move on to that, to the reports. We've got 4 minutes of meetings and 4 financial reports and a motion to receive and file those. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda with the various action items recommended.
Kurt, I'll make the motion to approve the consent agenda with the various actions recommended.
Thank you, Jay. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Jeff. Any discussion?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mark.
I just want, for the benefit of the community, if you haven't seen the printed general fund financial report, I have to tell you, the city and the people, administration, Dave, and all the executive people heading the departments are doing a really great job, because the expenses are right in line with the budget, and actually behind last year too. So I just want to compliment a sound financial management of the city and what you're doing in terms of spending money for the community. The second thing I'd like to mention is looking at the applications. Could we maybe have a little bit of explanation on the one for the one-stop beach shop that's applied for some approvals in this? What exactly is? I don't recognize that name. I believe that's a new business coming. Is that true?
Yes. Jamie, do you have any more details on that?
Just a little bit. So it is a new business coming into town. It is a lady from Manitowoc. I believe she has a similar shop there. She is looking at opening the former name of it, but it's kind of behind Patsy's Mobile. She is, kind of like the name implies, opening a beach shop, so things associated with the beach. And she's also looking at selling beer for carryout only and cigarettes.
And that's, the license is being approved for August 2nd to June 30th. Is she opening today?
She is not, but we're just issuing it effective immediately. And then when she's ready to open up, she's got it.
Back to your point, Mark, it'd be great to have a little bit more details. We could help promote her business, or at least present it in a manager's report, so we can all be aware of what that business is.
It strikes me, anytime I see a new business come to Two Rivers, that's great news. We should celebrate that fact.
Adam?
Maybe I missed it, but do we have a reason for the denial of the application for the operator license? They used to be in our packet, but I didn't see it
Not in
this
your
time.
packet?
It's not?
I have a copy. I'm not sure if you do or not. She's got several convictions in the 2018.
Okay.
Ben, do you want to talk to that?
I don't think we need to necessarily read it out in public, but it'd be nice if council could get that in their packet so we know. Because, I mean, we're voting on it obviously for denial, but it'd be nice to know why. If it's approved, it's whatever, everything's kosher, but if it's denied, we'd like to know. At least I would like to know why, but.
I think Ben just went out to make copies for everybody.
Okay,
so-
that's fine.
Okay. Any other questions regarding the consent agenda? Okay. So we got a motion, we got a second, no more discussion. All in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? It passes. Thank you, guys. Let's move on to formal items. We start with number 11A, which is a resolution authorizing the execution of the Department of Natural Resource Principal Forgiveness Financial Assistance Agreement related to the 2021 lead water service lateral replacement funding. Jim, I think you're going to come up to the front if we got questions on this, but that is in our docket as well. I'll try to find the page here. Hold
84.
on. We got a lot of things.
84. 84.
84, thank you. So Jim, you want to give us a little explanation? Well, I'll tell you what, let's do a motion to waive the reading and adopt it, and then we'll go into the discussion regarding this. We'll give Jim a chance to then answer some of our questions. So do I have a motion first?
I'll make the motion to waive the reading and adopt the resolution.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Tracy. Jim, you want to go through the page 84 and give us a little bit more of an insight on this?
Well, the resolution was requested by DNR. We already did one for the rest of the public side borrowing. This is specifically for the private side, which is funded directly by EPA. And rather than have muddled resolutions covering both public and private side, DNR is preferring to do it separately. So we're doing this one specifically for the private side so that the folks can get the $2,500 principal forgiveness.
Okay, this is a loan with principal forgiveness up to $375,000. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Through the funding that they're going to offer. Thank you, sir.
Well, this is for the closing the end of this month.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Jim? Okay, seeing none. Jamie, there's a roll call here, please.
Jeff Delkey,
Aye.
Tracy Coach,
Aye.
Darla Leclerc,
Aye.
Bill Leclerc,
Aye.
Jay Remiker,
Aye.
Bonnie Shimulunis,
Aye.
Adam Waleski,
Aye.
Kurt Andrews,
Aye.
Mark Bittner. Motion carries.
Thank you, Ben, for bringing this document to us as well, for those who didn't have it. Let's move on to B, which is a letter from Next Era Energy about no longer maintaining warning sirens. We discussed this at our work session last week. This is again in your docket, page number 85. Recommended action here is a motion to authorize the staff to accept the donation of the 3 siren installations located in the city, and to assume the operations and maintenance of these sirens going forward. So first of all, do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Jay. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Jeff. Any discussion as we have this in front of us now? And part of the thing for the public to know is these are being granted to us free of charge, but apparently FEMA has approved a change that the nuclear plant no longer has to manage this. They can start giving warnings if they need warnings through cell service. We believe as a community that we still like to have the sirens. So, because not everybody has smartphone, if you would, or ability to have warnings coming through their phone. So they're offering this to us at the end of the year or early next year, for us to take over the responsibility of the electrical and the maintenance. And we discussed it at length on Monday's meeting, and this is just a formal action to be able to accept this. Ben, do you want to add anything else regarding from the police or from the community safety point of view?
I just wanted to add, the chief has spoken a little bit further, and it sounds like they would also have 3 to 5 additional units that we could have along with the poles, which would mean that, I guess in talks early on here, we were talking about getting one on the east side to notify like the beach in the event of an emergency, but also have then one for each replacement so that it's not something that we'd have to buy, we'd have a replacement for each one.
Oh, great. Great news.
Yeah, very good.
Mr. President,
And they're fairly new, correct? And they got a 20-year life. They're fairly new, so the public knows we're not buying an antique and we're gonna have to fix it next year.
Right.
Yeah, my understanding is, and Jay, I think you have a good knowledge of it,
Yeah.
but my understanding is these would be like a $20,000 unit that we're basically getting for free.
And they're, from what I was understood and what I was told, they're about 5 years, roughly, put up within the last 5 years. So they're fairly new, yes.
Great. All right, awesome.
And, Mr. President, and
Yes.
Jay might add to this too, in our discussion previously, they're relatively inexpensive to operate on an annual basis, so we're not spending a lot of money, and it's a good cause.
Great. Any other discussion regarding this subject? We got a motion, we got a second. All in favor of approving this and letting the city staff accept this, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you, guys, and thank you, we'll thank NextEra for allowing us the opportunity as a community to have this. That'd be great. So moving on to number C, proposal from Architecture and Planning for project services for the Central Park West 365 project. The recommended action here is, it's page number 89, is to authorize the city manager and the city clerk to accept the proposal on behalf of the city and enter into a contract, and I'll be clear, for design services only at this time. It's design services only. They'll bring back the design, figure out what the cost is, and then we, again, would have to look at it and make a decision whether or not we want to move forward or how we're going to move forward. And I know the staff and everybody else is looking for possible grants, donations, so on and so forth, but that's part two of this. Part one is approve the design service. So I'm looking for a motion to authorize that for the city manager and city clerk to accept the proposal on behalf of the city. I have a motion.
I'll make the motion to address, to authorize city manager and city clerk to accept the general proposal on behalf of the city design service, recognizing there may be changes in the future, enter into.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Tracy. We have a motion, we have a second. Any other discussion regarding this?
Mr.
Carla?
When you say accept the proposal, what is the difference between accepting the proposal and accepting the design right now as is?
The design right now as is my understanding is concept, it's not the details of the design. So the pump house, all this stuff, it's got to get down to the granular, exactly what the costs are going to be. It's a concept only, and they're trying to get down to more a granular design, is my understanding. Elizabeth, you want to elaborate on this?
The word proposal is actually what's in your packet, and that's from Architecture. It's the actual design services. So he's referring to the proposal of design services, not the design of the park.
Okay, yeah, I was unclear on that.
I'm
So
sorry.
there's still room for negotiation as far as what's included
Yes.
in the design and the
Yes.
cost? I do have another question, and that's how many different potential sponsors have we reached out to?
Well, so far, we know that the West Foundation application is due actually this week. It's on Wednesday, so we're definitely pursuing that. We are already considering some of the grants that we could possibly pursue, but either way, that's just the beginning. We haven't even started with the sponsors. So the design services, as Kurt mentioned, we need to have the design to move forward. So this doesn't commit us to construction services. So if we have that shovel ready, then we know that we have that package complete. And then phase two would be shopping around for sponsors and funding sources.
I just wanted to make sure that that was clarified for the audience.
Thank you for the clarification and the question. Any other questions? Adam?
So we got to pay another 150, or not another 115,000, but we got to add another 115,000 onto the 25,000 we already spent. So the total planning of this is going to be upwards of 135,000.
The proposal before you are actually for specs. The services that they did for us so far were what we've seen, 3D renderings, and the designs that we've seen, but those are not construction bid documents.
Right, so
So
it's gonna
that's what
cost-
we'll be paying for next.
So it's going to cost another 115,000.
Correct.
Plus the city wants to borrow 600,000 for this project.
600,000, I don't know what you're referring to with respect to that.
Line 2. I said plus they want to borrow $600,000 in the capital budget.
Well,
I'm making the public aware of what's in front
Oh,
of me
I
is what
see.
I'm doing.
I'm sorry. Yes, well, what's before you is for design specs, the entire package to design the park going forward.
We'd have to have a separate approval to borrow money,
Right.
as well as grant dollars, as well as what the total cost is going to be and what the benefit is going to be. So we got a long ways to still go, but we need to get the design done is what's in front of us. Mark?
I just want to circle back to two comments the city council has already made. Darla and Adam, finance is really important on this project. Nobody wants to spend any more money that we don't have to. And by working and moving forward on this project and approval, that also allows us to seek out and test the ability to borrow money. Because if we can't borrow the money that we've got numbered here in this sheet, then we probably wouldn't proceed. But if we don't reach out to people at opportunities to get money now, we'll never know if we'll have it available to continue to approve this project. So this is a very good step towards which I believe is a positive project for our community.
I think it just got a little bit too expensive than what it originally started as. It's going to cost a lot of money.
So by accepting this, does that mean that pretty much what they have is they're not going to make any alterations to it? Or can they go back to the drawing board and cut 400,000 off of it? It got out of hand.
Well, I think that speaks to Darla's question. We're not committed to the specific design, but this proposal before you is an estimated cost to complete biddable documents. So he will do specs based on what that final design will be. But he did commit when he discussed with everyone before that he will meet again with the committee to iron out the final details of what that final design might be, what the park would look like.
What that cost might be. It could be 400,000 less. It could be 400,000 more.
It could be
So
phased, it could be phased in.
Right.
It could be how that implementation for the construction ultimately would be the next discussion point. But this is just for the design.
Darla?
And that meeting is just for the park committee, or are we going to be, I would hate.
think it was going to be the committee that was set up for the park design, but it's open to council members as always.
There's two council members on that committee, and it would always come to the council to
Right.
get
Yes.
approved before we spend it down.
Just as it was before.
Right, but what I would like to be able to avoid is going back and forth multiple times, because the committee might come up with an idea, and it comes to us, and we don't want that, and it goes back to them. I mean, how many times, is there some way to avoid that ping-ponging?
Well, I think we can figure that out going forward. But I think tonight the issue is whether or
Okay,
not you even
okay.
want to go forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we have two committee members on the council, so you guys comfortable with what Darla's
Oh, yeah.
suggesting as you represent us at those meetings as well?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, actually, the public in general, like any city meeting, can show up and.
Got it. Okay, so yes, Jay, sorry.
I just want to
Thank
let
you
the public know that this project is totally redoing Central Park.
Yes.
It's the band shell, everything. That's why it's so expensive, that we're completely redoing the whole city park. We're going to incorporate in other things that we didn't have before. The splash pad and ice ring is going to be, what's making the project a little bit more expensive, plus redoing the bandstand, or the, whatever you would want to call it.
Band
but-
shell.
Band shell, yeah. So it's not just adding something to the park. We're going to completely give it a whole new facelift.
And I think there's restrooms involved too. I think the
Restrooms also
restrooms from the
involved.
initial quote are like 450,000 of that number. So the question becomes, again, it's à la carte. We can decide what may stay or may not stay, but that's a good point, Jay. It's not just a ice rink and a splash pad. By the way, the reason it's called Project 365, it's designed to help economic growth downtown all year round. That's what the whole intention is. Thank you, Jay, for that. Adam?
I just want to note, I do think, again, that the expense of this project has gone way out of hand. And with it being as high as it is, I think we could really reduce it and spend this money a little bit more wisely in our downtown area that needs a lot of help as well. And that's why, just for me, I guess I'm personally not in favor of this anymore, like I used to be. It's gotten way too expensive.
Any other discussion or comments? Bill?
I might be mistaken, but does part of the cost from what Joe Toddy donated to us, would that take care of part of the cost? Or Jim Toddy, yeah.
I believe that contribution paid for the initial contract that was spent with Parkitecture, but I would need confirmation on that.
If there's some left over, it'll go towards that as well?
Yes,
Okay.
but if it went to the first part.
It was, I think, Bill, what you're describing is the first installment of this proposed project, whether we do it or not, came from a donation. Okay. Any other questions or comments before we go to vote for the next phase of this, which is allowing them to go get a more finalized design done? Okay, let's go do a roll call vote, because it is spending a little bit of money, and I think I'd rather hear everybody's voice rather than an all in favor. So thank you, Jamie.
Tracy Coach.
Aye.
Darla Leclerc.
Aye.
Bill Leclerc.
Aye.
Jay Remiker.
Aye.
Bonnie Shimulunis.
Aye.
Adam Husky.
No.
Kurt Andrews.
Aye.
Mark Bittner.
Aye.
Jeff Dalkey.
No.
Motion carries.
Okay, let's move on to the next subject on here, which is going to be city manager appointment to boards, committees, and commissions. You have that in your docket as well, or in our deck. It's page number 95. It really is, and I don't know if anybody's going to speak to that, or Jamie, if you can, but we have a replacement on the Central Park West 365 Planning Committee, which we just talked about, and her information is in front of us. Does anybody have any more details they can share with the council on this? Okay.
Other than what's on your sheet.
So I'm assuming Mr. Buckley did his due diligence, and Teresa, and how do you say her last name?
Eberg?
Eberg, is being recommended as appointment and recommended by city manager. So I'm looking for a motion to approve that appointment by the city manager for this committee. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Darla. Do I have a second?
Second that.
Thanks. Any discussion on this one?
Yeah, I think maybe we want to just repeat, this new person is going to be on the committee. And let's just repeat for everyone's attention, when is the next committee meeting, and the public's invited and other people can attend to? The next 360 Planning Committee meeting?
I'll look for Jamie for an answer on that. Or maybe
check. I'm not
or
sure
maybe
if there's one
Tracy and
scheduled
Jay
yet.
know when the next meeting is.
They said it.
I don't know that there's a date set yet.
But just so everyone is aware, it would be posted in our public meetings in the future. So it's this Central Park West 360 Planning Committee meeting to talk about the new vision for our Central Park.
Okay, great. Okay, so we did all in, yes, Tracy?
That is a citizen-run committee.
Yes, it
So
is.
they have to set the date.
Yes, I got it. We're not setting the date, is what you're
We're
saying.
not setting the dates.
We do it all in favor on this? I forgot, we had so much
We have not
discussion here. Okay, thank you. All in favor of this appointment recommendation, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Let's go to the comfort resolution, number E, directing staff and the Plan Commission to proceed with actions necessary for the creation of tax incremental district number 16 related to redevelopment of the former Eggers East property. Elizabeth, you're going to speak to that, correct? So let's do a motion to waive the reading and adopt that resolution, and we'll do a second, and we'll get into more details. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Darla. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Bill. Elizabeth, do you want to enlighten us on number 96 in our deck is recommending the staff to proceed with actions or activities necessary for creation of a new TID related to the former Eggers East redevelopment.
Sure, this is typically what the city does to prepare for the creation of a new tax incremental district. This will be number 16. This is, as it relates, just as our comfort resolution says, it's for the former Eggers East property on the waterfront. As we updated you all before, we have been talking with some very interested parties about this parcel, this property. So what we can share with you tonight is that we are discussing some new market rate multifamily housing on this location on the waterfront. And so what we can identify so far for this TID is that market rate multifamily is being proposed there in addition to some other expenditures that we anticipate to be a public access trail along the East Twin River. This TID will probably need to shore up some of the seawall and some improvements there, looking at some public boat docking opportunities along the waterfront. And these are all going to be in support of other planning documents that have occurred, the harbor plan and others that have preceded this particular development, so that it's going to be in conjunction with those planning efforts. So this TID, of course, recognizes that this is a priority development area for the city, and that it will be promoting residential development in an orderly manner and redevelopment in a manner that the city has been emphasizing for this property. So that's what this resolution speaks to, and then we will be updating you more about this. This is on a very fast track to meet the DOR's deadline of getting this hopefully approved by all the taxing jurisdictions by September 30th.
Great to know that we got someone interested in that property too. The sign is up, and hopefully this thing will all fly, and we'll be able to see if we can get some more development going on. Be great. Any other discussion or questions for Elizabeth?
And Elizabeth, it's a great project. I've seen the private plans. It's exciting to see, but just for public awareness, we'll be wrapping around adjacent to the new stormwater pond that we're developing in that area too, right?
Correct. It is near there, and we'll be working with Public Works and their plans and having it all fit together.
And the comfort resolution is based on projections of what the developer will have in terms of spending money in terms of development, and looking at the impact financially of whether it makes a good move for the city. And from what I saw, this is an exciting development. And I think we should support it.
Yeah, and we'll have numbers for you a little bit later. Yes.
Adam?
Is this TID only for that property, or is it taking along other properties around it?
Because this is so early, we had to get this comfort resolution before you tonight to meet that timeline. The boundaries have not quite yet been set, so we will have that shortly. And at Plan Commission, we will be able to identify the boundaries, and then that will be presented to council as well. So we don't know yet.
Walking before we run, but we'll get there
Yes,
eventually.
but we needed to get this on the agenda to meet our calendar schedule.
Any other questions for Elizabeth? Mark?
But if we do approve and move forward with this, I believe like any other TIF, the boundaries could be extended, but that's a later decision process we want to make. I mean, it could be extended beyond the original size, right?
Well, we can always do an amendment, and we always have the ability to expenditures with an addition 1/2 mile. But we haven't yet set the project boundaries for this TID quite yet, Mark, Councilmember Mark.
That might indirectly answer your question.
Nowhere.
Okay, any other questions for Elizabeth on this? Okay, let's go ahead and do a roll call vote on the comfort resolution in front of us regarding the creation of tax incremental district number 16. Jamie?
Darla Leclerc.
Aye.
Bill Leclerc.
Aye.
Jay Remiker.
No.
Bonnie Chumulis.
Aye.
Adam Waleski.
I know the boundaries. No.
Kurt Andrews.
Aye.
Mark Bittner.
Aye.
Jeff Delkey.
No.
Tracy Coach.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. And one of the questions on the docket are, and Elizabeth, you addressed it, is as soon as we can get to the boundaries, it'll make everybody a little bit more comfortable. But it passed. So let's move on to number 12, information only. We have a meeting coming up on August 16th, 2021 at 6 o'clock. It's a regular city council meeting. And then we have a work session on Monday, August 30th, also at 6 o'clock. We do not have a closed session tonight. So we'll save everybody a few minutes. So with that said, we're looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Jay. I was hoping you'd do that. Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
that.
Thank you, guys. We have Adam and we have, it's a tie for second, okay? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. And we are out of here. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.